Europe gains a new tourist attraction, the European culture route of fortified monuments, Forte Cultura. Europe possesses an extraordinary cultural heritage, the architecture of fortified monuments. These monuments bear witness to dramatic conflicts between empires and dynasties like Habsburg, Hohenzollern or Venetian. The Architectura Militaris are precisely constructed defense monuments, a fascinating art of fortress building to protect people, their privacy and their possession. The Italian military engineer and architect Michele Sanmicheli is considered as the inventor of the modern bastionate fortifications in the 16th century. The French general and Maréchal de France Sébastien Leprestre de Vauban, also known as Ingénieur de France of Louis IV, is the most famous master builder in history. Many fortifications bear the seal of UNESCO World Cultural Heritage, among others Fortress Hohensalzburg, Fortress Marienberg in Würzburg, Citadel Gellert Mountain in Budapest, Fortified Ideal City Sabbioneta. The fortification architecture is surprisingly diverse and full of life. Forte Cultura begins the European contact tour of 2014 in the fortress city of Koszyn nad Odra in Poland. Already in the 16th century, Brandenburg's princes built a fortress at the confluence of two large rivers, Oder and Warta, at the town of Küstrin. It became one of the largest and most beautiful fortress towns in Prussia. In this fortress, the famous Prussian King Frederick the Great was stationed as an officer cadet. The once magnificent fortified town is a ruined city today, called Pompeii by the Oder. At the end of the Second World War, the fortress town with its wonderful palace and church was destroyed. Today, the ruins are admonition of war and suffering. During the annual Koszyn Fortress Days, the European cultural route Forte Cultura gets considerable interest. With the salute, the Forte Cultura European Contact Tour 2014 starts in the direction of Lower Silesia. The impressive Palace Fürstenstein, today Książ, is a pearl of Silesia. It has elements of fortification architecture and belongs to the special types of fortified palaces. Three architectural styles unified to a unique and beautiful ensemble: Gothic, Baroque and Rococo. Richly decorated rooms invite to an enjoyable discovery tour and to stay overnight in the romantic Hotel Książ. Underground, the palace hides a dark secret. During the Second World War, Hitler planned the construction of a headquarter Führerhauptquartier in 2 levels. Across from Hitler's bedroom, a hidden tunnel leads 15 meters into the deep. Here you can still feel the breath of war. The construction of the headquarters has never been finished. The Lagerrose for the forced laborers who built this tunnel system was very near. Many people died there. The place Neisse, today Nysa, is located on a major trade route through Silesia. In 1742, the Prussians began to expand the former Austrian fortification to a modern bastionate fortress system around the city. Bastion Jadwiga is a well-reconstructed place with many interesting offers for tourists and visitors. During the year, the Nysa Stronghold Nature Park is a venue for many events, like the Nysa Fortress Days in July. Restaurants, exhibitions and fascinating guided tour with a multimedia show in the dark tunnels invite to stay here. The Silesian fortress cities Nysa, Srebrna Gora and Kozle participate in the European culture route Forte Cultura. The famous Marshal Radetzky was one of the commanders of the Austrian fortress system Olmütz, today Olomouc. Around Olomouc, a lot of single forts form a defensive perimeter around the city. Forte Cultura visited one of them, the Fort Krylov, and its private owner, Mr. Pavel Chehal. The fort offers a small pension and a restaurant. Interesting exhibitions, for example on the art of cinematography, entertain the visitors. The journey continues to the Danube River in the Hungarian town of Komarov, formerly Komar. On both sides of the Danube River, the Habsburg monarchy established a large fortification system with many fortifications still preserved today. Fort Monastor, with 3 large bastions, is one of them. The very active local association organizes many annual events, exhibitions, and a theater stage with a rich program for all ages. The star city Palmanova in Italy is a famous and wonderful example for fortified ideal city. Mighty bastions and deep trenches are surrounding the whole town. 3 portals control access to the city. Around the 8-corner central square, the church, the commandant's office and the city hall are located. The Municipal Museum is home to an interesting exhibition about the town and fortress history, as well as some surprises. Each year, a historical costume commemoration reminds of the founding of the city in 1593. Few people know that there are over 70 fortress monuments hidden in the lagoon of Venice, including Forte Marghera, completely surrounded by water. Where once the Austrian occupants used to reside, today one may linger in cafes, watch artists in their workshops, and enjoy the beautiful nature. In the world-famous UNESCO World Cultural Heritage City of Venice, the marine arsenal where the fast Venetian ships were built is an impressive sight. Today, it is still an active facility of the Italian Navy. The entrance to the lagoon of Venice was once protected by the fort of St. Andrea. Today, it welcomes the large luxury liners. Well hidden behind the wall lies the round Maximilian Tower, which today is a cultural exhibition center. Verona, known for Dante and Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, is one of the most beautiful and important cultural cities of Europe. Here, monuments of more than 2,000 years of fortification history, built by the Romans, the Scaligieris, the Venetians and the Austrians, can be found. It is the cradle of bastion architecture. Parts of the fortress facilities belong to the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage. A special construction work of art is the Sanctuary of the Madonna de Lourdes, built in 1958 on an Austrian fort. The Fortezza in South Tyrol is a typical fortress barrage of an alpine valley built by the Austrians. Long underground stairs and tunnels connect the intricate architecture of the fortress. Here, tourists find attractive exhibitions and entertaining cultural programs. The Fortezza Franzenfeste enriches the experience of the cultural route Forte Cultura. The mountain fortress of Kufstein in Tyrol is visible from a distance. It is famous for its arena with many events, festivals and changing exhibitions. Majestically, the mountain fortress Rosenberg dominates the town of Kronach. The region of Franconia is richly equipped with such fortified monuments. They often emerged from the wars between the Roman clergy and the evangelical Protestants. 5 Franconian strongholds signed a cooperation agreement and joined Forte Cultura under the sub-label Franconian Fortification Art. The Saxon mountain fortress Königstein is one of the most breathtaking fortifications in Europe. High above the river Elbe, it offers a fascinating view over the landscape. More than 350,000 tourists visit the monument each year. They are presented with a program rich and variety, like the Canaletto exhibition. The Elbe River fortresses of Dömitz, Torgau, Magdeburg, Dresden, Pirna, Königstein, Teresin and Josefov will join the cultural route Forte Cultura under the label Elbe Fortresses. The European contact tour 2014 was an impressive and successful journey to the fortified cultural heritage in 6 European countries. The European culture route Forte Cultura welcomes all fortifications for an cooperation in the European culture tourism.